Hello. Hello. I think I can hear it. I don't know if you can hear it. Hopefully you can hear it. Um I am live, but I can't tell if anybody can hear it. So I will open up for comments if anybody does want to comment. So I am coming to you live. I am doing a like 5-day road trip across the country via the rail. So if you can see, I'm in a rail car. You can see out the window just a little bit. I can all I can do right now is take the camera and show you. Right now we're in New Mexico. So I left Las Vegas, Nevada. Late last night, I left Las Vegas at um, like um, so the lighting is a little bit weird because I didn't get my light out. Um, but I have a light on over there, and then I have some overhead light. But there's a lot of light from the outside, but it's like really bright because the sun is literally right here, right now, like diving through my window. So a few ins and outs about making plans to do a trip like this. So, originally I flew to Vegas and then obviously I was going to have to go home. So, we discussed it and we were like, oh, I should go and go by train. So, I looked up the tickets. I will tell you, don't be delusioned that because you're taking a longer route and by ground trail rail that you are going to get train passing. Sometimes they get a little loud. You can see the flashing light too. Um, but don't be delusioned that it's going to cost you less money because it absolutely is not. It is more money, and the coach is still a lot more money than it was about $500 to go by rail coach, which is not what I'm in. But it was about $500 to go coach um, from Nevada from Las Vegas, because Nevada, if you leave from Reno, Reno does have a direct train from Reno to Chicago. So this one was a shuttle van. They said it was a bus, but it was a shuttle from Las Vegas to Kingman, Arizona, and then wait like 2 hours, get on the train from Kingman, and this one goes to Chicago. So um, they were super nice. I mean, it was 2:30 in the morning when the train came in, so there was a handful of people that were in the train um, lounge waiting. It's like a little train station, but it's pretty much unmanned. Um, so, but a few misconceptions and misideas when booking it. And I booked it through an agent on the chat instead of going online. I couldn't get the right, like when I put in where I wanted to go, it would just say there's no trains that route, but not give you any options of how to change it. So putting in Las Vegas to Huntsville, Alabama, well, there is no trains to Huntsville. So the closest one was Birmingham, which is about, and then so I was thinking Nashville because more about an hour and a half, 2 hours from Nashville, give or take. We often have people, excuse me, have people fly in. Let me have a drink of my orange juice. But we often have people fly into Nashville because you can get somewhat cheaper tickets. I'm sorry about this. Totally like white out on my face. Let me see if I can make that just a little bit better. I don't want it to be dark in here. That's the thing. That's at least better. Still right on my face. There we go. Um, so some of the misconceptions though was, you can't go from one to another. And I used to live in Reno, but I was in Vegas with my best friend. So I had to take the van. Um, the agent keeps saying bus, so you think it's more room. And I had a little bit more luggage than a lot of the other people. Um, so I had more stuff to bring back with me, which I will say is definitely better train versus airplane because a extra luggage is $20, so it's not that expensive. So anyway, we booked the coach ticket, and then I went and told my mom and my husband that, hey, this is what we're about to do. Well, I told my husband, this is what I'm about to do. What do you think? And he said, oh, that sounds like fun. And my mom, on the other hand, as soon as she found out that I had booked a trip on Amtrak and chose coach, she said, no, you're not going to be happy. You're going to be extremely uncomfortable. So you should probably not do the coach. But I mean, I chose to do that at first, and then after a few minutes of her saying, "No, you really should not be doing that." So I, because of my mom, she upgraded my ticket so that I was not having to do the coach version. So that was good. I was really nervous about things because I had so much luggage. I have some disability issues. I have hard time walking. I have my cane, and I have two giant suitcases, a smaller suitcase, a backpack, my purse, and a cooler. So I have 6 pieces of luggage basically. And one of those giant suitcases is supposed to go in the trash because the airport broke the wheel on my van. Let's Oh, I don't know what just happened, but I think I'm still live. I don't know. So, thanks to her, I ended up with a whole suitcase of shoes to take back, and you know how us girls are with our shoes, so I'm taking the shoes. Um, so having to haul all that stuff was difficult. So I called or got on the chat again and talked to the person, and because of my disability they were able to add in assistance, so they helped me on the guy. Now it was not, my glasses feel crooked and my hat, I think my hat just makes them look crooked. I don't know, my hat's crooked probably. um but I miss my puppy, so I gotta wear my crooked hat. Let's see. eh I don't think there's any saving it. But anyway, so it was a van, a 15-passenger van, and there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There was 8 people in the van plus the driver, and the 2 people that were in the front bench were really kind of rude because they were laying on the seat. One was sitting up, but the other one was completely laying across the seat so no one else could get on. And that's like, okay, well, I guess that's cool. Um, Rude. But and then there was a guy who sat in the front seat. Oh my God, I'm not shitting you. He kept snoring. He fell asleep and he kept snoring, but none of us really knew he was asleep. But it sounded like he was finishing a drink over and over and over and over and over. Um, yes, David, I am on a train, Amtrak, from Kingman, Arizona to back to Alabama. I still am planning a trip back to Reno. I just haven't done that trip yet. Um, so um, so he was snoring so bad, but it literally sounded like, finish the drink already. It's there's nothing left. Stop sucking the bottom of the cup. But it was pretty funny. So the two girls behind me, we were cracking up. And this gentleman, when we first got to the train waiting, which is literally a sign. I'm going to do a full video at the end of this, at the end of the trip, of the whole experience, including videos and pictures and stuff like that. But the train waiting in Vegas was literally a light pole with an Amtrak sign on it that I had to wait at for about an hour, give or take. And so this gentleman came up and he was on the train. He's like, "You going to Chicago?" "Yes, I'm going to Chicago. I'm going all the way to Alabama." He's like, "Oh, I'm going to Chicago." And then he was helping me with my bag, which was super nice and super sweet. When the van got there, the guy got out. Excuse me. The guy got out, said, asked my name. Lost signal again. Okay. So he's like, "Yeah, we're going to Chicago." So he's put the other guy's putting the stuff in the bag. The two ladies that are sitting in the middle with one of them with their son, she thought we were together. So he asked to sit up front instead of sitting next to me. He was sitting next to me, and then he asked if he could sit up front and move the bag in the back. And so he went and sat up front, which I thought was fine. But then it was like the ladies behind me just kept giggling, and I'm like, "Oh my god, his snoring is like," and I turned around and said it to them, and I'm like, "Hey, his snoring is like drinking the bottom of a cup. Just finished it already." And they started busting out laughing, and somehow it came out that they thought we were together, and I was like, "Oh god, no, we're not together." I'm like, "My husband probably wouldn't be very happy about that." She goes, "Well, he made it sound like you guys were together." I said, "Yeah, apparently he was planning to travel with me the entire trip." So, he told me we needed to sit together and everything, and I'm like, "Thank God." No offense, but I was saying, "Thank God mama bought girlfriend a first class ticket, upgraded me to a first class ticket." So anyway, they helped me get on the train. They helped with my luggage. The guy was super awesome. My two big bags, he's like, "Let's just check those." And normally I couldn't check them until I got to like Albuquerque, or well, the agent on the chat said I couldn't check them until Chicago. But apparently I could check them in Albuquerque. But I was happy to that they were nice and took the bags, and he's like, "We'll just put them in the checked bags, and then you can we'll just finish the checking of them when we get to Albuquerque." So, and I just saw him when I went to the dining car for breakfast. So that turned out really nice. Train. Um, and so that turned out really nice that they were able to take my two bigger bags, and I only had to deal with my backpack with my computer and stuff, and my other bag with some clothes because I had to bring a change of clothes for the rest of the trip, um, and my food cooler, blah blah blah. Yeah, you get it. And can't go anywhere without my dog mom hat. And so waiting in that little train depot thing was really uncomfortable. The plastic sets of seats that just stay in one position. The lady with her sister and her kid, it was very cute because the kid, I've got a picture of him. She let me take it. But he was literally draped over the top of a suitcase sleeping. It was really kind of cute. Um, but let's see. But on the chat, one agent said, "Yeah, you can check your bags all the way through." I didn't know until later that I couldn't check them till Chicago, so I was a little bit in a panic of how I was gonna deal with 2 large suitcases, a smaller suitcase, and all the other bags can sit on top of the suitcases, but I can't pull 3 suitcases. So I was a little nervous about that. My disability obviously makes me a little bit nervous. I'm trying to keep the light from like literally shining right on my face and making me look so weird. Um, so, but so that made me a little nervous. It was so funny. The night before, my mom said, "Go ahead and upgrade your ticket." And I've never been a panicky person. I've never been an anxiety type of person. That's just not my personality. I'm just, I and I handle shit. And I've always been that way. I've always been the one reliable to all my friends and family that she'll just jump in and get it done. So I've never been an anxiety person. I've never been a worrier. I always see the silver lining. I always see the best side of everything. And I will tell you, the night after my mom told me you're going to be miserable, that night I kind of had a panic attack about having a panic attack. And I didn't have a full blown panic attack or anything, but I was having anxiety about it. I stayed up most of the night, couldn't sleep, and I was just like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna get to Albuquerque or Chicago or something, and I've got to haul these suitcases around, and I'm gonna be, oh my god, I'm gonna be in so much pain because my back and my other issues, um, and all that." And I was like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna freak out. I'm not gonna be able to do this, and I'm gonna call my husband saying, 'Get me a fucking plane ticket right now.'" Um, so then the next day she had me upgrade. Very next morning, actually. So I don't know if we were having the same anxiety attack, but it was pretty scary when you think about it. I've never traveled like this by train. I've been on the Orient Express numerous times when I was a kid. When I went to school in Austria, I used to take the Orient Express back and forth from Budapest, where I lived, to school, but it was just a few hours. There was no overnight thingy or anything like that. And then when I've been on the train going to the Grand Canyon and around the Grand Canyon tour, and that's from like down at the base, and you just ride it all the way up to the Grand Canyon. Then you get off and tour the Grand Canyon for a little while, and then you get back on the train and come back down. So this was another experience that I knew I was taking on by myself. So if you're thinking of traveling by yourself by train, I will tell you, if you're not able to do the disability thing where they can assist you with your luggage, plan accordingly to have only what you need. So you can and go to a location, hopefully pick up location that is not by a bus or a van, because that was uncomfortable, and you couldn't try to sleep, you couldn't get in any comfortable position at all. I'd rather get on the train at whatever time the train came. Like if I had known this was that way and that uncomfortable, I probably would have made the trip to Reno and left from Reno, because I knew Reno to Chicago is a direct train. Um, but hindsight is 2020, and that's also why I'm going to do the videos along the way of why you might want to do something um, different, and why you might not want to do it as coach. I would save up the money to pay I mean, I will tell you, I'm not going to put any delusions about the price. When I said it was $500 for coach, um, that was all the way from Las Vegas, so it included the van, bus, shuttle, and then 3 trains. It goes from Kingman, Arizona to Chicago, and then from Chicago to Charlottesville, Virginia, and then from Charlottesville, Virginia to Birmingham, and then my husband will pick me up in Birmingham. Um, So that was $500, 476 I think is the total for coach. It was $1,800 total to do first class, which gives you a cabin. Now you can see the seat where I'm in and the light behind me and the plug and stuff like that. And I brought my power strip so I can have other plugs plugged in at the same time. So I came prepared with things. Um, and I brought a little blankie. You do get a blanket, couple pillows. They make up the bed for you. They have a cabin attendant, they call them. And so they make the bed up for you. So these two chairs turn into the bed, and there's a bunk bed above me if you wanted to climb up into the bunk bed. I would never do that. I can barely even get the suitcase up there. So I'm certainly not trying to get my fat ass up there. But and you have your own sliding door. So over here, if you could see it. So I'm going to move the camera. So over here is my door. So that goes out to the hallway. Let's see if I can get my, and then here's, that's, uh, that's my other side. So I got another chair there. And then obviously where I'm sitting, So there is definitely a benefit to having done done this. So if you're gonna do it, plan ahead. Bring what you need. They do have showers down the hall, so they have dressing room showers, so you can take a shower if you want to. I don't know if I want to take a shower in a train. I mean, when you're walking, it's the only time you can be drunk all the time and no one would know it, because when you're walking on the train, it's more like ping pong ball from one side to the other and you bring, 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 bring down the hall. It doesn't move that bad, but sometimes when it does, and you just get kind of bumped around. The nice part is, versus a plane, is you can get up and move around. The benefits also with doing the upgraded first class, which they call it a roomette. So I'm a single person just by myself, so it's just a roomette. I thought when they said roomette is that you get half of a room with somebody else and you'd be stuck there with somebody. No, I was so pleased to find out when I got on the train that it was me by myself in my own little cubby room. And it's very tight. It's not a lot of space. Once the door is shut, you're between you and the bed is about that much. I mean, barely enough for my big fat butt to be in the room. But the bed was fairly comfortable. I wouldn't say super comfortable, but it was really more comfortable than I expected. So that's a plus. And let's see, when I was on the chat, I wasn't sure about certain things like the food. So when you pay for coach, you have access to the like snack convenience store little thing that they have, so you can buy things. When you do the first class upgraded roomette, whatever cabin, whatever you want to call it, when you do that, you get the dining facilities. So you get a dining room and they serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So breakfast, you can go to the dining car and order and eat. Um, for lunch, they come and take your order and bring it to your cabin. For dinner, again, you can go to the dining car and you have dinner. So, and then there's a lounge car that has the windows that are kind of on the top, kind of around the top, and then down the side and much bigger. I was gonna go in there and do filming, but it was so crowded in there and so loud. So I wasn't gonna go in there and disrupt everybody else from talking and just to do a video or even to write. It was too loud. So we thought when we started this process of doing this, I'm like 2 chapters away from finishing my book. So, and no, it is not a memoir. It's not about my time in politics. It's not my time as a cop or in army, or it's none of those. It's not any type of memoir book. It is a serial murder mystery, a serial murderer mystery book thing, whatever genre you want. It's not horror. I mean, it's but horror. Um, so it's one of the ones like if you ever watched Boondock Saints or read Boondock Saints, it's kind of like that. You're rooting for the bad guy. At least I am, and I'm the writer. So, but I'm like 2 chapters away from finishing that book. So, um, I am I'm going to be publishing that book soon. So, as a matter of fact, I can show you really quickly. While I'm talking, I will show you what I have designed for my book cover and see what y'all think. Give me ideas. Give me what you think um, is good for my book cover. This is what I came up with.